In sports, you don't learn how to build skills or good sportsmanship till you're part of a team. In food, you don't learn how to be a chef until you get in the kitchen and start cooking. It's the same with sex and love. You don't learn by watching, you build skills and intimacy by showing up, playing with the balls, and trying new recipes together. I'm Amy Keller, your intimacy coach. Welcome to the first video out of 4 in a series called How to Score in Sex and Love. I literally wrote the book. Today, I'm going to explain the obstacles, how to navigate the 3 phases of a relationship. I'm going to give you a recipe for a love life that you both love that's going to get better and better over a lifetime. Let's get into it. You get into a relationship because you love each other, but then you stop feeling the love or making the love for whatever reason. And whatever your reason is, whether it's yours, whether it's theirs, it's okay. You're not alone. I have heard it all. Trust me. That's why you come to me. For those things that therapists and doctors really can't fix. Relationships are ending not because people don't love each other, but because of a lack of intimacy. It's always the intimacy. Intimacy is the unspoken understanding, that trust and that connection in that space between you. The hard part is that we don't build intimacy, trust, or connection by talking or by having sex. The problem with talking is words have meaning and they mean completely different things to each of you. For example, my clients, Kevin and Jackie. To Jackie, intimacy means being able to drop her walls and share her feelings with Kevin. For Kevin, intimacy means being able to drop his walls, reach out, and feel Jackie, as in sex. The problem with sex is that we think of sex as penetration and an orgasm as the goal. But an orgasm is a climax of sexual pleasure, and pleasure is the most overlooked element of great sex, of a relationship, of life, actually. Which is why we, and the intimacy game plan in our program, with what we do, we have redefined sex as pleasure. For the same reason that we don't call a football game a touchdown. Because in the game, it's not the score that matters. It's the plays, it's the teamwork, it's being in it together. That is when you're in it for the love of the game, that's the most important part. And the name of the game is pleasure. I am an intimacy coach, and I see intimacy as your lifetime sport. You are an athlete, you're an intimacy athlete, and your partner, your relationship, that's your team. You are an intimacy team. Practicing and playing with pleasure is your shared sport. Are you with me? And if you don't play together, you will grow apart. And of course, you're good at it. You're an athlete. It's natural, especially sex and love. You know how to play, but even the best want to be their best and they want to get better and better together, right? That takes practice. It's natural to want to be in a relationship. Some people feel like, I don't want to. I can't. I shouldn't. There's something wrong with me. But honey, we're hardwired. We're built that way. We're built to be in a partnership. So why is it so hard? Because you're two different people with completely different wiring. And viva la difference, right? Athletes don't learn by watching football. We don't learn about love and relationships by watching romance movies. We don't learn about sex and relationships by watching porn. No shame, no blame. It's entertainment. You're watching the pros perform what's been planned for them. That can give you a lot of pressure, set up you up for big expectations. But trust me, porn are performers. I know because I've taught them the moves to be better performers. I have a client, I call him Buck. My favorite was when Buck learned these moves to go be a better performer, but he came back to me to learn a pleasure practice because he was in an intimate relationship. And this is what it takes to be in an intimate relationship. For Buck and his wife, before they had a pleasure practice, their sex life felt like work. Even the performers feel like they're performing. A lot of people feel like they're performing instead of experiencing pleasure. Buck and his wife love sex, but being able to shift it to giving and receiving and sharing pleasure, that was a total game changer. She shared with me that it was so profound. She didn't know where she ended and he began. That's beautiful. Intimacy is a skill. Connection is your cure. Pleasure is your practice. And love, that's the outcome. One of you, Jackie, is emotional. Kevin is physical, like an offense and a defense, a sender and a receiver. When you learn to play together, you make a perfect team. And you're two completely different people with different names on the backs of your jerseys, right? You have different moods, different appetites, different languages. Love, sex, and relationships can feel like a lot of work because it's human nature to feel defensive and competitive. It's easy to see that defensiveness and that competitiveness in athletes. Telling you, athletes practice just to remind themselves that they're on the same side, that they're in it together to be able to drop that wall of defensive and competitiveness. Let me tell you about the three phases that happen to every relationship, whether that's your intimate relationship, being part of a sports team, or even part of a team at work. The first phase is that's the honeymoon phase. We know that one. That's when you're in love. That's when it's easy. That's when you're so excited, right? It's just going to be great. I love you. I love you. Love will keep us together forever. In sports, this is when you've made the team. It's so exciting. We've made the team. I made the team. We have the same name on the fronts of our jerseys. We are going to make it to the Super Bowl. The second phase of a relationship, this is the power struggle. This is the inevitable battle. Inevitable. This is where you want to break up instead of make up. This is where you stop giving and receiving from each other. In sports, this is like, why can't you catch the ball? Why can't you throw a ball I can catch? Don't tell me what to do. You're two completely different people with different points of view on the same field. As your coach, I see two people who want the same thing. They want to win, they want to score, they want to be in it together. The third and final phase of a relationship, they call it true love. I call it the love your man phase. Why? Because picture they lost a game. Picture Joe. Joe's on a football team and he dropped the ball and they lost the game. But his teammates don't look at him and go, I'm never throwing him the ball again. I'm never trusting him again. No. Instead, his teammates say to him, love you, man. Why? Because they understand that fouls happen to even the best players, right? They trust that they're going to forgive, that they're going to recover, that they're going to move on, that they're going to get back in the game. I have a saying, I have a lot of them. Every game is a practice game, e.g., PG. This is how you know that you've got each other's backs, that you're going to make it through the good times and the bad times. This is the love you man phase. Being an intimacy team with a practice and a plan is how you learn to give and receive love. You are learning to take care. You're learning to take feedback. You're learning to take turns. You're continually growing and improving, trying new moves, trying new recipes, and finding what works for you. I give you the formula, the routine, and the strategies. Having a routine means that you know what comes first and what comes next. You then learn to regulate yourself. Is it too sweet? Does it need more salt? You find what works for you. And you learn a communication technique so that you can understand yourself and each other. You know how to recover from a bad meal, a bad move, a bad game. Being part of a team is that you have practices and games to look forward to together. Having an intimacy game plan means that you trust that you're not going to be benched, that your skills are going to keep improving. That's how you get from junior to varsity. That's how you know that you're going from roommates to playmates, that you're going to make it to the loving man phase. And that lasts a long time. As a team, you are learning emotional intelligence and physical awareness together because you can't have one without the other as a team. Let me explain. Remember Joe, the guy who dropped the ball during the game? Oh, Joe. In the heat of the game, he's trying to throw the ball to his buddy who's out in the field. He looks at Buddy and he's going, I'm going to throw the ball. He's all excited. He's going to throw that ball long and hard. Then he looks at Buddy and Buddy is going, Buddy is sending a different signal. Buddy is saying, I want it soft and short right here. And Joe sees that signal. He understands what his buddy is communicating. And so that is the emotional intelligence. That's the understanding, that unspoken understanding. The physical awareness comes when Joe is able to throw him that ball, exactly the ball that Buddy needs. He doesn't question it. He gives him exactly what he needs in that moment. That physical awareness is being able to throw the ball so that Buddy can catch it. Knowing how to put that perfect spin on it, all those little things that teach you just the right move, that's what you get from a coach. That's how you learn these tiny little things that make you from the best to even better. When you shift from focusing on the goal to actually enjoying being in it, when you shift from penetration to exploring whole body sensual pleasure, the possibilities are endless. Having an intimacy game plan means that you know when to show up, where to show up, what you're doing, and how to do it. This helps you shift from anxiety to excitement, from trauma to comfort, from performance to experience, sharing the experience of pleasure together. Seriously, when it comes to intimacy, everyone has something, and I have seen it all. You can ask me anything. That's why I'm here. Fear of intimacy, if it's right, wrong, am I doing it? Is this, it's normal. Trauma, shame, pain, again, normal. Equipment issues, you're not alone. I even have mastery programs for equipment skills, help people give control, strength, stamina, real confidence. You're learning the same moves that I taught to the performers. But more importantly, you have a pleasure practice because that's what it takes. That's what it is. When it comes to sex and love, cooking or food or sports, it's being prepared that gives you confidence. And then being slightly surprised that makes it so great, right? You got to love that. And these things take practice. And these things are really private. I really deeply understand that. That is why I'm here. And I'm teaching the basic moves that you think that you already know how to do. Remember, you learn those little tricks from the coach. And I'm also teaching you the advanced moves that you wish you knew, or that you even wonder if they existed. And I teach everything completely respectfully, of course. I want people to be able to try moves, to spice up their relationships, to stay together and find the things that they love. I want you to find your signature moves, perfect your signature dish. And I want you to know that most everything that I teach is not about the goal. Most of it is not about penetration because I started my practice by helping men and couples with challenges. And people would say, why is this the best ever? Because they're not the same old moves. They're the same basic parts, but you're putting them together in a whole new way. Intimacy is so much more than sex. This is gourmet, baby. Gourmet pleasure. Everyone wants to explore in the kitchen. Everyone wants to explore sexually. Sexual exploration happens outside of penetration. Your whole body is made for pleasure. This is where the erotic is. And erotic, the definition means sexual love. Or in our language, that would be pleasure, love for the love of pleasure. That is your relationship. Makes sense? And this is the best part. I teach you routines and rituals and your starting moves. How to make your appetizer, how to show up on the field, how to make it through the whole main course and get all the way to dessert. You're getting to know yourself. You're getting to know each other, the comfort zones, the pleasure zones, the danger zones, the O zones. Score, baby. And then you've also got a coach in the locker room, just like you would if you were on a real sports team. That's where you go for some feedback, for some skills, for some strategies so that you feel like you're prepared, so that you are prepared to win. This is intimacy. This is how you grow as a team, as a relationship. This is everything I wanted sex therapy to be, and so much more. I've merged traditional therapy, tantra, and the science of intimacy, plus 20 years of experience helping thousands of men, women, and couples experience the connection that you can feel that heals. And it works because it works for both of you. Imagine being each other's source of comfort, understanding, pleasure, and support. A total game changer. The old way is we go into a relationship with a prenup, prepared for the worst, prepared to fail. What? The new way is you go into a relationship with someone that you love with an intimacy game plan. That way you trust that you are prepared to score. And with an intimacy game plan, just like if you were on a team together, or even if you were making the same dish over and over, it would still get better and better for a lifetime. Kevin said to me, I always wanted to know this stuff, but no one was teaching it. I'm Amy Keller, your intimacy coach, and I'm here because I know that. I have been named the best intimacy coach because I became the help that my husband and I needed, but we couldn't find. I've learned by helping thousands of people for over 20 years that we grow together, not by talking about it, not by working on us, but by having a pleasure, practice, playing together, by learning to navigate the inevitable pitfalls and struggles of life and of being in a relationship, by getting to know yourself and each other better and better, intimately, for a lifetime, getting to know your tastes, getting to know how to throw you that ball that you can receive. Make sense? Good. Now you've got a new perspective. You're an athlete. You're part of an intimacy team. You're learning to cook together. And the better you get, the better it gets. Intimacy is your skill. Connection is your cure. Pleasure is your practice. And love, that's your outcome. Make sense? Good, because next we're going to talk about initiating and foreplay, or as I call it, your starting position and your appetizer. And just like you don't have to figure out how to play football without a coach, you don't have to cook without a recipe. You don't have to figure out intimacy, sex, love, relationships alone. You've got a coach who cares. Get the free download, the game plan. You'll find links in the description, or talk to me, because having an intimacy game plan and a coach is how you trust each other and that you're going to make it to the love you man phase. Forever, baby. Drop me a comment. I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. You don't know what to say? Leave me a heart in your favorite color, because I'm Amy Keller, your favorite intimacy coach. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, stay connected to make sure that you watch the rest of the How to Score in Sex and Love series. Stay connected to yourself, each other, and me, and I'll see you soon. Sound good? Mm-hmm.